From the land of conjurers, flying through the internet to your device like a UAP, hauntingly unexplained and downright weird. This is the Witching Hours, and we are ready to take off in the flash of an eye. Good evening to one and all, wherever and whenever you are listening to this program. I am China the Frost, and joining me, as always, is the medium Jenny Lee. How are you doing, Jenny? Oh, you're muted.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Thursday.
I was very confused because my Twitch broadcast was like frozen or something. So I was laggy. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? But I'm well. And I'm glad that you're doing well.
Yeah, it's Thursday. We've made it, we've made it almost there. Tomorrow's Friday, working for the weekend and all that stuff. And I hope you all are well. I hope everyone who's joining us tonight and listening to us later on YouTube or on the podcast finds themselves, I don't know, in a good position entering the fall season. Mm-hmm. I know we were talking about the hot weather, and that's finally kind of broke here. Evidently, next week it's going to turn a little cold. There's going to be a day where it's going to get down into the 30s in the morning. So
what?
That's coming soon. That's coming quick with everything right now. The wheel keeps on turning. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're going. Just an update. We got a lot going on this month. We have Jen Romanowski, who's going to join us next week, psychic medium. When then on the 19th, we're going to have our guest Irene Panagopoulos and some others. She's got some exciting things to talk about, so that's returning guests, so that's going to be fun. And then the week after that, we have our Halloween special and 2-year anniversary, all wrapped up into one.
Of the Witching Hours. I still remember being like, oh, we've made it to episode 10. And here we are. I
can't believe it. We've done 4 episodes, and here we are. Yeah. I think this is episode 36. Or,
36, 37, 38, something like that.
I keep them numbered somehow, so we'll figure it out. So I hope you all are doing well. We got a great show for you tonight. I've been really excited for this one. I think a lot of people in our chat are going to enjoy this. So get your questions ready, and we will talk to you guys in a minute. But I guess first we should do the news. So, in television watching news, this week, I don't know how many of you have checked this out, but we pretty much managed to binge watch the new Netflix documentary called Encounters. And I saw an article for that. Steven Spielberg produced UFO documentary has more than 300 witnesses for mile-long space sighting. And the new Steven Spielberg produced Netflix documentary Encounters, which is now streaming, there was an eye-popping number of witnesses to one of the UFO incidents. For 5 months after October 2007, more than 300 locals near Stephenville, Texas, reported seeing a large Delta-shaped UFO. Witnesses all reported it to be enormous. Some estimates said it was a mile long. Others claimed it was a length of 17 football fields. And various witnesses said they saw it hovering around with lights. The mass sighting made national news back in 2008. And Encounters is just the latest project from Spielberg's longtime fascination with UFOs and extraterrestrials, which has included E.T., Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, War of the Worlds, and of course, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. We had just mentioned not that long ago if he was, where was Steven Spielberg with all this? And he produced this. It was pretty good. If you have watched it, feel free to talk about it on the Discord. We just kind of went through it, and I thought it was very interesting, especially when we connect that in with some of this Suzanne Spooner stuff we have been talking about with the Mandela effect and the sighting in Zimbabwe. Second news article for tonight. is the Pythagorean theorem was found on a clay tablet 1,000 years older than Pythagoras.
What?
So study math for long enough and you'll likely have cursed Pythagoras' name or said praise be to Pythagoras if you're a bit of a fan of triangles. But while Pythagoras was an important historical figure in the development of mathematics, he did not figure out the equation most associated with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In fact, there is an ancient Babylonian tablet which uses that theorem. Thank you, hoaxers, for the gift sub. Appreciate it. To solve the length of a diagonal inside a rectangle. The tablet likely used for teaching dates from 1770 BCE, centuries before Pythagoras was born in around 570 BCE.
So he was stealing it from the Babylonians. Is that what happened?
Well, they kind of talk in this article a little bit about. So one reason for the rarity of the original sources was that the Pythagorean knowledge was passed on from one generation to the next by word of mouth as writing material was scarce.
That makes sense.
Essentially, what they think has happened is he has essentially a university where he begins to teach, and pretty much anything that's discovered by any of the people he's teaching gets associated to him. That's kind of like the way things were done then.
Oh, yeah.
And so someone who had either found that information or whatever, talked about it, discussed it, taught it in that school, and so it was attributed to them. At least that's what they're saying right now from this article. But
I can see that.
We talk on here about history changes all the time, and there we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go again. Interesting story about, we've been talking about Venus quite a bit and what's going on with the planets next to us. Lightning on Venus may not be lightning at all, Parker Solar Probe finds. While zipping through space on its 7-year-long mission to investigate the sun, NASA's Parker Solar Probe might have finally picked up signals of the culprit behind Venus's mysterious lightning storms. This happened in 2021 when Parker made a routine flyby of the windy world in an effort to harness the planet's gravitational pull and propel itself closer to its primary stellar object. In a nutshell, per a new paper on the Parker data, flashes of light on Venus that many experts associated with lightning bolts might not represent lightning bolts at all. Rather, they appear connected to disturbances in the magnetic fields surrounding the planet. So, just another thing we talk about. You would think at this point we would start to have,
So what did they say it was? Disturbances in the magnetic field?
Yeah, disturbances in the magnetic field. And so
in other words, it's not lightning, but they still don't know what it means, what it is.
Well, they think it's the magnetic field, that it's the magnetic field. Now, it does have lightning, but it was just before they thought it was just like this constant crazy electrical storm. Okay. And so now they don't think that's the case anymore. So we're finding out more about Venus, and we're finding more about Mars all the time. So there we go. What we know about Venus has changed. And this one I thought was really interesting, and I guess we can definitely kind of talk about this a little bit tonight as well. Amazing advance in spinal repair allows injured mice to walk again. So researchers have reversed irreversible paralysis in mice with complete spinal cord injuries using gene therapy. The team found that regrowing neurons is not enough to fully restore walking, and that regenerative therapies must target specific neurons and guide them back to where they belong, which was previously unknown. There's a lot more work to do, but the Swiss and U.S. team says it's the first step towards establishing the technology required to achieve the same in humans. We expect that our gene therapy will act synergistically with our procedures involving electrical stimulation of the spinal cord, says neuroscientist Grégoire Courtine from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. A complete spinal cord injury prevents the spinal cord from healing itself. Recovery requires inducing regrowth of neurons, which has been achieved, but the necessary conditions for these therapies to actually restore motor function remain a mystery. We know that mice or humans with partial SCI become temporarily paralyzed, but most of their motor functions return naturally. The spinal cord neurons that produce walking are located in the lumbar region, but after a partial SCI, neurons in that region relay communications across the spinal cord that allows walking to be restored. And so they've done it in mice, and so now they think that it's within a short amount of time that they might be able to do this with humans, which would be a huge step forward.
Was that a dad pun?
Unintentionally, yeah. But isn't that the best way to do dad puns?
That's a game changer. And here you come with some dad puns.
I'm not good at puns, but I make them a lot
You just accidentally.
without realizing it. Anyway,
but it's a healing story, which is a good segue into our guest tonight.
Yeah. So we have tonight, Csongor Daniel was born and raised in Yugoslavia, where he studied engineering as well as one of the most powerful healing methods of our time, author of Bioenergy Healing, simple techniques for reducing pain and restoring health through energetic healing, as well as 3 other books. And now an online seminar on the same subject. Csongor teaches internationally and practices in Florida with clients all over the world, thanks to his effective long-distance healing method. His teacher has healed more than 1 million people, and Csongor's goal is to teach that many how to heal themselves and others. Csongor's lectures and his internationally sold book, Biotherapy Healing for the 21st Century, are approved for continuing education for massage therapists throughout Florida. He also has a double DVD, Energizing Tai Chi, Qi Kong, the 18 Steps for the Absolute Beginner, as well as a children's book, The Girl with the Healing Hands. You can find Csongor at ChongorDaniel.com. ChongorDaniel.com. And we got that pinned to the top of the chat. And if you're listening later, you will find that down in the details below. Please welcome to the Witching Hours, Csongor Daniel. How are you doing with tonight, Csongor?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been really, it's really nice to have you on because this is a topic we broached a little bit in here, but we definitely, I think, have a lot to learn, especially not being totally familiar with exactly how you are performing this. So would you like to give us a little background? I know you talk about having your teacher and learning. How did that kind of all begin for you?
It's quite a long story, but I was born and raised in Yugoslavia. I actually finished engineering in college. I just never worked in the field. I kind of build motorcycles with that knowledge. That's about it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yes. It was an interesting beginning, but for me, everything stemmed from that knowledge of engineering and before. I had a thirst to know things, but from a logical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I met with this invisible force that I could not explain. And that's how it all started. Now, I was already an engineering student, normal life, everything going on in Yugoslavia. And we had a visit from a family friend. My dad's old buddy, he was an editor in a big publishing house, and he read a lot of books. And he came over and started showing us this energy, showing us this invisible thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, we were able to feel it, and he demonstrated that energy to us. He also showed us some dowsing, with a pendulum, how it works and such. And it definitely awakened something in me, an extra thirst for this knowledge. I mean, I can't see this thing, but I could feel it. There's something more beyond that physical that I learned in the physics class and chemistry and such. So I started playing with that. I started feeling the energy more, tried different things on some friends. I had a good buddy who was a marathon runner and always had an ankle issue. So he was my first experiment, really. And we both felt the energy around his ankle. I had no idea what I was doing. But through his guidance of what he was feeling and what I was feeling, we were able to stop his pain.
How?
Next thing, I stopped somebody's headache. Again, I don't know how I did it. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly, I kind of developed this feeling for the energy, but never really made enough sense. And there was nothing in literature about it. Some forest and philosophy and such. We're talking, this is the 1980s, end of 80s. And again, it wasn't something too seriously taken, but I was practicing nevertheless. So one day my mom's back was hurting, and that's what changed everything. I just asked her to stand in front of me, and I kind of visualized pulling her pain out, or pulling. By then I figured it was sort of excess energy that caused that pain. And by trying to pull that pain out while I was standing behind her, all of a sudden she moved. She started moving backwards. And I let my hand back forward. My mom went back forward. And again, I was standing a couple feet behind her. And again, I pull my hand, I tighten up my hand a little bit, and I pulled my mom back again. And back and forth a few times like that. I'm like, gee, Mom, what are you doing? She says, nothing, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
And so it was a total confusion. We forgot about the pain. I realized that I could move her without touching her.
Wow.
There was a specific magnetic field that I could feel around her. So what do you do with that knowledge when you're 20 and in college?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the pub and you tell your buddies.
Of course, yes.
And what's the first answer? Yeah, right. Well, let me try on somebody. So I tried on one of them. I was able to move him. Then the next person. And by the end of the night, the entire pub was into it, and we're betting in beer who's going to move, who's not, and such. Now, it was a cool thing, like ultra cool, but what do you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Or where does it come from? Or can I do more? Can I move objects? Can I move a car? Or, it's just a million questions.
Yeah. Can you slide a beer across the bar?
Right. So another week or two went by, and my marathon, this was before then. So first, my mom is yelling to me, again, a week or so after this incident, comes quickly, and in the evening news, they were showing this guy who was bending people and pushing them and pulling them.
Wow.
And he was somewhere in Croatia, in an island in the Adriatic somewhere. And that was the only info that we caught. And we saw a picture, an aerial photo, of people waiting in line, like snaking around these small streets.
Wow.
Hundreds, maybe thousands of them. So quickly I tried to get in touch with this person, clearly somebody else is doing this already, it's easier to learn it from them. And at that time, this was before Google, before internet, before anything. Finally, it took several days before I got in touch with somebody on the island in a hotel. And he informed me that, Mr. Domancic already left. And he doesn't know where he is. So that was that. A couple of weeks later, my marathon runner friend runs over with a newspaper. He says, you got to check this out. And there was a professor in Belgrade who was measuring the energy fields of the body. And he was talking energy and chi and that kind of stuff. And finally, first person who just awakened my interest here. So I was able to get in for the weekend, and I went through a bunch of tests. They pretty much measure everything in your body, what you can measure in a radio. You have amps, ohms, volts, and such. And he was able, through statistical measurements, to figure out who was born to be a healer and who's not. Now, I doubt those things now, because I believe everybody's a healer. Everybody can learn to do this themselves. However, at that time, it was a nice ego boost.
Yeah.
And
it was probably what you needed for your path.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, well, at the end, pulled me over like, hey, look, you were born to be a healer. You should change professions.
Well, I actually have a question about that real quick. Well, why we're on it, because if I don't ask it now, I'll forget. But I completely understand the idea of like everybody has the ability to heal. Jenny talks a lot about how everyone has the ability to be a medium, but in some cases, are some people made to be a better healer? Like everybody can play football, but not everybody has the skill to be able to play in the NFL, right?
Exactly. You know, I'm a good runner, but Usain Bolt, I mean, I have no chances with him, right? I can play basketball, but I'll never play like Michael Jordan. Plus I'm, 5'7". There's no way. So, everybody is good at something. Everybody has a gift, maybe several gifts. You have to figure out which one it is, which one also gives you pleasure to continue your life happily, right? So, yes, I believe, and I know so far, everybody that I taught learned it. Anybody can learn to stop pain, stop headaches, stop simple things. Anybody can do it. Certain things, maybe some tougher medical conditions may require more knowledge and more experience, but we all have that innate power to heal. When you cut yourself, it's not the Band-Aid that heals you, it's your body that does it.
Yes,
you get a cold and you start taking echinacea and vitamin C and whatnot. Those things make your life, more comfortable, less miserable. But it's again your body that does the healing. So you have to maintain that level of energy where the body can and does heal itself. So again, these things came with experience. At the beginning, I didn't know any of that. Right?
I think it's also interesting too that you started out wanting to be an engineer because you'd like to have a knowledge of how things work. And really that's just what you ended up doing anyway, just with the body and energy.
Well, half my family was into engineering. My dad was a chemical engineer. My uncle was a mechanical engineer. But the other side, my mom was an art teacher. Her dad was an artist. And we can go and split it up. And I somehow fell in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yes.
Yeah.
I do still like logic. I like to explain things. And if I don't see the explanation, I like to search for it. Everything has an explanation. We're just, stupid. We don't know everything.
Exactly, yeah.
And then the more you know, the more questions come up. So it's a loop. It's a never-ending
There is.
story. Yes.
So then so then the guy tells you that you're meant to be a healer. What happens after that?
Well, I started laughing like, great. I checked all the college classes. None of them teach anything like this.
Yeah.
Nobody in the country does any. And, humor me. How can I learn more? He says, don't worry, I have the best guy for you. And we hop in the car. Same weekend, he drive outside of Belgrade, go into a hotel, and there he introduces me to Mr. Domancic.
Oh, wow.
Goosebumps every time. And so
it was the guy you were looking for.
I totally believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
It's of course you have to give it a little nudge, but it will happen. So I learned, basically I was explained what I was doing, and learned some of his techniques. Ended up spending some time with him and some of his students. How should I describe this treatment? We got to this hotel. It was rented out entirely for his patients. What used to be a disco was the treatment room. There were hundreds of people in that treatment room sitting at the same time. About 3 or 4 were being worked on by my teacher and a few of his students. You could come in with a headache and sit down, and a few minutes later, your headache is gone. Just from that circulation of the energy. The more people, the more energy circulates. Now, I'll explain later the principles of this energy and how it works, and how these group treatments are even stronger, and how it can be done even at distance. But in essence, for now, it's important to know that you can all learn how to do this. My teacher over the years systematized the whole process, made it so that even if you don't feel or see the energy, which some people can't.
Mhm.
About 90% of people will feel it or see it or both after 10 minutes. So it's really, really easy to learn.
Hmm.
Now, the system was developed for those who have absolute no clue about, medicine or about healing or anything. Where to put your hand, for how long, what will you feel, move on to the next one, and so on. So that's his system. Over the years, I added my own touch to it. I do teach people to feel the energy, and I do teach them to see it. I find it being important. Even though it's not important for the healing, it still does give an extra element. And many times the pain is in one part of the body, but the energy blockage is somewhere else.
Mhm.
So the strength of this method is actually recognizing those imbalanced areas, and by adding or taking the energy off, we balance it, and we put the energy back into a flow. So basically, we jumpstart the energy flow and try to prevent the formation of new blockages with that. Technically, you can do a treatment for each body part, or if you have a headache, quick 2 minutes will take the excess energy off, and the pain stops immediately. Very few cases will take more than a couple minutes.
Wow.
You can do it on a city bus or anywhere. It's not a complicated technique. However, for a full treatment, we always balance the entire energy. We jumpstart the entire energy field. We're a unit. Nothing works one without the other.
Absolutely. So I was curious, when you're talking about feeling the energy, how do you experience that? Like, what does it mean for you to feel it?
Well, might as well teach you and your audience how to do it right now.
Okay, good.
Let's skip the yap and get to it. And you'll see how you experience it. There are minor differences between one person and the next. It comes into the light more when we are doing the diagnostics, how you feel the energy and which hand feels it more. So we have exercises to figure out which one is the better feeler, which one is the better giver and such. But we're all ambidextrous in that manner. So let's try this. Put your arms out in front of you with your fingers relaxed. Totally just let them hang. Now lift your fingers up so they're straight with your forearm. I want you to feel the difference between relaxed and a little bit tense. Right? So now with this tension, hold an imaginary basketball. Don't drop it, just keep your hands parallel and facing each other, and the fingers are slightly apart and slightly tense. Now squeeze your ball a little bit, by an inch, and then let it back.
Mm.
And again by an inch and let it back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you feel a little bit of resistance, like having a ball, or playing with magnets. You try to push two magnets together and they wouldn't go, right?
Yes,
okay, now
sir.
speed it up a little bit. Feel that balanciness back and forth. There's that little pressure between your hands as you push.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Good. Now we're crossing a few layers of this energy, so some places you may feel more, some less. But get all the way to an inch distance. You will feel more of the heat, more of the tingling that you may have already felt. If you move your knuckles just a little bit like this, just a little bit, they will feel as if they needed some lubrication, right? Like they're a little bit squeaky. That's also the feeling that you're doing. With that tension in your hands, you literally open the energy gates in your hand. So it gives you that feeling. Now, let's bounce back and forth a little bit. And maybe even make your ball a little bit bigger. Can you still feel it? It's a little bit faint now.
Mm-hmm.
But again, bring your hands closer, and there's that density now. Find that density. There's one spot where you feel it the most. It will be roughly between a handball and a basketball size. This will be the distance later on where you would do your diagnostics, going around the body. Okay, so this is what you want to feel all the time. But when you go around the body, there will be spots where you feel more. You know, maybe your hand goes out, or less, or maybe a little bit of heat, or cold, or tingling. There are many different signals, and I teach those step by step.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we learn a little bit to feel this, then that, then the next person, then feel their spine, and so on. So it's a very easy process because you keep building on that same feeling that you started with. Now let's try another exercise. Again, grab this same ball, a little bit tight fingers, separated like that. Bring it closer and closer, bounce it back and forth. You may feel even more of that heat and tingling and pressure. Each time you will feel it easier and easier. Now go all the way to an inch distance and make your hands flat, fingers straight. And very slowly start circling. I'll show you sideways. There is a center of rotation right here, like the middle of your palm. Can you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
This is the feeling you would get with two magnets. You know, you try the two positive or two negative sides, and they push away from each other, but always in a circular way. Okay, that's the center of your magnet right there.
Wow.
Okay, you can make it even a bigger circle if you want. You'll still feel it. And with more practice, you will feel it at literally any distance.
I can feel like there's almost a natural kind of axis there, like you said, from the palm. Yeah.
Now, if you pull your hands apart, you'll feel resistance to that motion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a rubber band pulling back, but it's really just a magnet. You know, you have, every magnet has two sides. You have this energy on this side too, but you feel it more between your hands, right? You have more sensory receptors in your fingers and such. The same energy is everywhere. Technically, you don't really need your hands to heal anybody. You can do it with your elbow or your shoulder or your knee. It doesn't matter. Bottom line is really that the healing comes from deep inside. You know, it comes from your brain or third eye or solar plexus, or whichever way you look at it, it's coming from deep inside. Now, before you ask, when I do all these healings, it's not my energy. I mean, it is to a certain degree. Going back to, you know, who's talented or born for it or not. We all are. But again, comes to the capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not draining me because this energy is everywhere, just like the air. You inhale and you blow the air on somebody else. It works the same way. So my body picks up this energy easily because it's used to it now, like an antenna. Really, it's everywhere. And I could see that in the group treatments with my teacher, where, you know, we took off a lot of excess energy from people with pain and other issues. That energy doesn't disappear. And it's not bad energy necessarily. It's just too much. Now you're sitting in the audience and your body needs that energy. It subconsciously it knows to suck it in.
Wow.
So the bigger the crowd, the more of this energy circulating, and you know, better the outcome. So in essence, you know, as long as I can do it physically, standing up and doing it, I could do it forever.
Wow.
Now,
so
again,
we just specifically talking about like electromagnetic energy. Is that like, it's just that, or is there more to it?
Okay, that's a good question, and 2 more days of explanation.
Well,
Well, we
it's
told you
originally,
earlier. We told you
yes,
before. Our time goes quick. It seems like a long time.
originally, I was looking for, again, a logical explanation from physics, chemistry, and such. Ordinary physics will not explain this, so we have to go into quantum physics. Now, in quantum physics, I mean, we know very little still, very tiny little. And we don't know many things about other, let's say, dimensions. We don't have to call them dimensions, but other states or such. So
yeah, we got that, I think.
Physically, I can explain the energy quite well. But of course, during healing processes, there are many other things that don't have classical physical explanation. And we know quite little about the powers of the subconscious and such. Now let's try to explain this physically first.
Okay.
Let's not go into the Big Bang and we are made of nothing and now there's everything and such. It gets pretty deep and intense. But let's say we all read about the Big Bang. And everything in the universe is made of positive and negative particles. And there's some neutral particles and some opposite particles. But let's concentrate on the basics. We appear to be solid, right? I mean, a little bit flexible, but solid. Deep inside, we know that this is 70% water. Now, if I start jumping around, it won't splash around, right? Because it's contained in trillions of tiny cells, which are literally like balloons holding that water. It's a little bit of spongy substance and whatnot, but it's basically water. Now, let's go inside that one cell and look a little bit deeper. You'll find molecules. Now, in this case, it would be hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So we went from liquid, actually first solid, then to liquid. Now we're in a gaseous state. We go deep inside one of those molecules. And this is where, the whole quantum physics craziness starts. Because in the book, nobody can put in the right ratios in a book. Just like the solar system you had on the teacher's desk, there was the sun and on some wires, the planets. It was way off. We can draw some similarities between atoms and the solar system for easier understanding. We know where the sun is. It looks big. It's hot, but it's extremely far from us. So if we could, let's say, squeeze the sun to the size of a pea, then Pluto would be 1.5 miles away, and it would be the size of a bacteria. Earth wouldn't be much bigger. Maybe we could see it with a magnifying glass or so. So in between, there's nothing. It's empty space. There's just this force holding them together on the same path. But that's it. Now, in the atom, it's very similar. Let's again magnify, this time, the nucleus to the size of not even maybe a pinhead. Let's say we make it the size of a pinhead, stick it in the middle of the stadium, middle of a soccer, football stadium. The closest electron would be outside the bleachers. Now, that would be so tiny you would not see it. And we don't even think it's matter, it's just energy, it's dense energy. So that little electron is so frisky, it flies around that nucleus so fast that if you could see it with naked eyes, you would just see a giant ball the size of a stadium. Like when you take a pendulum and spin it around really fast, you see a circle, right?
Yeah, like a sparkler. Yeah.
Yes. So you have this giant stadium, but deep inside, it's empty. 99.999999999% empty space. Now you take another empty stadium like that, and another one and another one. You know, some have extra electrons, some have a extra spot for the extra electron. They form a bond and so on. And here we are. But deep inside, 99.999999999% of this is empty space.
Very strange to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And technically, you know, you've seen the movie, you know, Matrix. Nowadays, you can build a whole city on your computer or telephone or something. It's 2D. You can make it maybe 3D. I don't know, modern technology. But at one point, in the near future, we'll be making a matrix on our own computer, and we have figures there and people and whatnot. So it makes your imagination run around a little bit. What is all of this? Is this really real? Because technically everything is made of atoms. You know, this desk is solid, but deep inside, 99.9999999% it's empty space.
Yeah.
And that's also questionable if it's really matter. I mean, we call it matter and looks like it and such. The only difference between this desk and us or other living beings is that this desk will stay the same until we burn it or destroy it somehow. Our energy changes constantly, and it's influenced by a million things. We can do a quick rundown what that is. I won't go into details, but, you know, number one, the air you breathe, right? Number one thing you can't live without.
Yeah.
The quality of the air that you breathe, big difference. We don't have to go into details there. Number two that you can't live without.
Water.
Water. What kind of water do you drink? You know, is it acidic? Is it alkaline? Is it the glacier milk or is it city water?
Yeah.
Big difference, and we can go into that. But shoot for alkaline, if you ask me. Number three. If you have any questions anywhere, feel free to jump in.
So real quick, going into the water, are we talking about a difference between like spring water, like you were saying alkaline water, what you thought was the best choice there?
Absolutely. I mean, our bodies are alkaline by design. Your blood is 7.365 pH. So whatever you eat, your body will try to maintain that pH in the blood. And if you eat acidic foods, then the body will protect itself by either attaching the acid to fat, pulling it away from the internal organs, or by neutralizing the acid with minerals such as calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium. Now, if you don't have enough in your diet of those substances, then the body will pull it out of your bones. I mean, it's all chemistry at this point.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very important to keep your body alkaline. Probably 70-80% of your diet should be alkaline, both food and beverages. Do you want a rundown of what is not alkaline?
Actually, we went to the dentist yesterday, and there was a poster on the wall of what was alkaline and what was acidic, and it's like the majority of stuff.
Shocking,
acidic.
right?
Yeah.
Everything that you find in the store is
it's all acidic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But think about it. You know, does your store have a health food aisle?
a
Probably
very
crappy one. Yeah.
But what's the rest of the store then?
Oh, mostly corn.
It's probably all acid based.
Yeah, corn syrup and corn is 90% of our food.
It's worth investing in studying this and studying what to put in your body. It's extremely important. Just like you don't put diesel in your gasoline engine car.
Yeah.
You know, it's important what this engine is running on. And so, yes, alkaline water. Now, if you have a nice spring water somewhere, you're in a pristine place in the mountains, of course, that would be the best, with a nice alkalinity and cleanliness and such. Stay away from, city water. Everybody knows that.
Yes,
stay away from...
We have a viewer that lives in Flint, Michigan, so she's well aware of the city water.
stay away from plastic containers. It's getting tough to be healthy, but it's possible, and you have to be aware. It's one of the things they don't teach in school.
No,
I don't know why, but well, maybe we know, but anyway.
That's a different rabbit hole to go down.
Well, yes. In essence, health is business. Health is money. Food is money. It's a business. So everywhere you have to sift through. They don't sell food to make you healthy and feel good and, be happy. The same old pharmaceuticals and everything else. So we all know how the world runs.
Yeah. It's almost like I feel like sometimes that just recently humans have kind of rediscovered how to eat. Like it was like something that was kind of hidden away. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and at that point, it was like Super Size Me, McDonald's,
Yes,
and
cereals and everything.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was in my 20s where it's like, oh, I can't eat pizza every day. Like I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to finish my plate, and I'm supposed to go back and get seconds, right? Like I'm a good boy. I'm eating seconds. I'm a good guy. What's wrong with this? Yeah, for sure.
After 20, the free ride is over.
Yeah.
So yes, and then besides the water, you have to. Next one would be food, and again, you want to shoot for alkaline. You want to shoot for organic. There are different foods for different body types, blood types. It's I think everybody's chore to look it up and see what's best for themselves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In foods, there's even bigger difference in acid and alkaline, and tiny details can make big differences. So with food, we can really spend many days here.
Oh, yeah.
So please look it up and shoot for alkaline as well.
All right. Alkaline, everybody. Alkaline.
Alkalize. Then, of course...
No more orange juice for you. No more orange juice.
You can have fresh oranges sometimes. Yeah. I mean, still get vitamin C and some good substance, just with a lot of sugar.
The orange juice is real. Yeah, it's not really juice. It's like all kinds of other stuff in it.
Well, everything else, if you look at it. There's some apps now where you can just point your phone at the barcode, and it will tell you if it's good for you or not, or at least I don't know who made up the rules for it, but it will tell you if there's too much sugar or any little details. See what else the next that influences your energy. The places where you are at, your environment. You can be, in the middle of Beijing, and you can be in the middle of a pristine mountain. The air will be different, of course. The view will be different, and just the feeling will be different. Now, there are other, environments that you don't see. Underground water, cavern, caves. There are cosmic rays that hit us. So all those energies, we can't really change much. We can move away from them, but we don't really have much influence on that. The geopathic zones, and there are all kinds of names for these underground energy influencers. Then there are other influences that are closer to us. If we claim that we're electromagnetic beings, then, this computer screen here is electromagnetic, the TV, everything else around us is electromagnetic nowadays. If you have a cell phone, it's all, we are surrounded by electromagnetic fields that obviously influence us quite well. So quite much, actually. Now, we can talk about that forever as well. Moving on, next thing that will influence you, again, things that are close to you, other people. Okay, you have that happy-go-lucky friend who shows up and the whole room lights up, right? And then you have that other friend who shows up and, hey, how you doing? Same crap, different day. Yeah. We all have at least one of those, and so.
And sometimes each of us can be those people in one day, depending on what's
Well,
going
if
on.
we are not aware or such,
Yeah.
yes. In essence, yes, other people will influence you with their approach, with their energy, with their mood, and such. So it comes down to the last, which one is the biggest influence on your energy? It's your own mind.
The mind.
If you decided you're happy, you're happy. If you decide you're sad, you're sad. Everything you decide is happening. A lot of people forget that. And in essence, whenever you're negative, even for a moment, that exact moment, your energy comes in like this. Okay, normally your energy goes roughly as far as you can reach. It shows like an egg shape around you. Okay. It's in all direction, but it pulses all the time. As I mentioned, this table has the same energy. It never changes. But your energy changes with everything. You have some alkaline water, your energy goes out, right? You see your loved ones, your energy goes out. You see some tragedy or bad news on TV or anything that triggers something negative in you, your energy closes in. So it gets weaker. Think of the spaceship Enterprise. They're being attacked by the Klingons or whatever, and Scotty put up the shield and the shield goes up, right? So there's the protection. And this is your shield. This shield has to be up the whole time in order to protect you. Every time you get the shield down, of course, you don't do it consciously. You don't go like, hey, Scotty, shut it off. Who cares?
Yeah.
But you have a negative thought or stress. Stress is the best example. Stress is the root of every evil, every problem, every issue.
It's not money, it's stress.
Stress is good for you. A lion chases you. The stress may save your life and run you up the tree and such. But it's designed to be just a few seconds or a few minutes long, that adrenaline rush. Now, if you prolong the stress, that's when problems happen. Prolonged weak energy field. You're more easier picking up problems or germs or such. They will influence you easier. So, again, you want to keep the energy wide. How do you do it? Well, you got to stay away from stress. How do you do that? There's no stress. Stress is right here. Okay? It's all created in your mind. There's too much traffic. You stress out, right? But you can go like, well, I'm not in a hurry. I can listen to a book or such. And the same traffic is not stressful anymore. It could be raining outside. You could be looking at it like, oh, crap, I can't play golf. I can't go out, blah, blah. And be stressed and negative. Or you can look at that same exact rain and go, wow, it's beautiful. It's great for the grass and such. I'm so happy I can stay inside, curl up with a book and so on. Yes. So it's the same event, two different approaches to it. Did either one of them change the rain or stop the rain?
Nope.
No. So when you look at those, every event has different visuals, different areas you can look at it from.
Changing your perspective.
Yes. Now we know that everything in the universe is made of positive and negative particles. Just like the yin and yang, you see. One doesn't exist without the other. So if there's a negative event that happens, I know that there's something positive attached to it. I used to search for it just to validate my, theories, and they always came out, sometimes years later, but they do come back. So, in essence, I stopped trying to explain it, and I stopped looking for it. Whatever happens, happens. Now if I choose to look at it, I will choose to look at it from the positive point of view. And that goes for everything in life. You can twist it, turn it around any which way you want, I will look at it from a positive point of view. It's
a silver lining.
Yeah.
it's a choice. Everybody has that choice. You know, you can choose to be miserable your whole life. If that's good for you, great. You know, I'm not going to argue with you. You know, I won't argue with your karma. But if you come to me with an issue, I will try to help you and stop the pain and stop the tumor growth or whatnot comes this way. Or I will teach you how to do it yourself.
So speaking of transitioning into the healing that you do, you've mentioned pain quite a bit, and then you just mentioned a tumor growth. So like, just a general rundown of what types of things do you help people with?
Anything. I mean, I try not to put labels on it, and you know, even medical data. I have it to see what's the problem, but I don't look at it from the medical or physical point of view. So it's all from the energetic point of view. So if you come to me, hey, it will take me a few minutes to walk around you, check your energy everywhere, see where there's too much, too little, imbalance that energy. Many times people come to me and they don't tell me what their problem is. I just look for the imbalances themselves. However, you know, this goes with feeling. You know, after 30 some years, I could watch TV and work on somebody. It goes automatically. It's just so embedded in me. I've been doing long distance healing from the very beginning as well, which requires me to go into deep meditation and visualize everything. So this time you don't rely on the feelings, but more of the visual. And so I teach people how to feel, how to see the energy as well, and how to meditate and how to actually work on their loved ones and themselves as well. It's all the same technique in essence. Now,
we have a question from a chatter. Luce wanted to know how similar or different is this compared to Reiki?
Oh, that's a good question, and it comes up every time.
Yeah.
The simplest explanation: think of Reiki on steroids.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
It's more systematized than Reiki, and Reiki is missing some of the elements. Some of, you know, taking the energy off, some of the jump starting the energy flow and such. So I have converted a lot of Reiki masters into bioenergy healing, and they happily converted. So yeah. It just, if you were doing Reiki for years, all of a sudden it will make sense. You know, just everything is suddenly explained to you.
Yeah.
So, and in, well, there's similarities to all energy healing methods. It's all the same energy, just has different names, you know, ki or chi or prana or bioenergy. It's all the same. I just believe that this technique is the fastest and the most powerful.
Awesome.
The learning process is quite easy. So, I mean, one afternoon you can learn the entire process and how to continue and such. Now, as I said, sometimes the seeing the energy is a little bit tougher, but also quite doable. Again, close to 90% of people learn how to do it the first time. On my online school, we added special effects, so you actually see what you're supposed to see. My cousin is a filmmaker, and he was stuck with me here at the beginning of COVID. And so we shot the entire series. We set up the whole studio, and he did an amazing job with special effects. So literally conveying everything better than the book. Now, the book itself, I didn't mention my book here.
Bioenergy Healing.
Yes. This book has not only all the explanation, but it has these QR codes. So 31 videos that are associated with the book. So if you don't understand it, even after reading it, you put your phone there, click on it, and the video comes up and you can see the visual. Of course, in the online school, everything is much, much better explained with with the effects and such.
Lou said you're fantastic.
Yeah.
You should.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we did have some feedback on that. Luce and Keisha were both talking about, when we were trying that out, doing the basketball and everything, about how they could feel the tingles and they could feel the energy there, and there was seemed very excited about that. Just to kind of reset, if you've jumped in since the beginning, we've reached the 9:00 hour, and our guest tonight is Csongor Daniel. We're talking about bioenergy healing. And we picked up with that. I also wanted to remind people, at the end of the show tonight, we're going to have Allison, the Priestess of Wonderland, on to talk about moon phases coming up soon. So we still have that coming up tonight too.
Because she's not feeling well. But
she needs to do some bioenergy healing. She can't be here.
She recorded a lovely video for us, which I'm excited to see.
And I do have to mention with the long distance healing, as I said, I've done it for 30 years or so. But when COVID hit, all of a sudden, everybody was staying home and such, and people started finding me more and more online. So at one point, more than 80% of what I was doing was long distance healing.
Yeah.
And the results were surprising even to me. Many times they're better than one-on-one. And it could be somebody in Australia, and I get better results sometimes than if they were here live.
I had a similar experience learning how to do mediumship over Twitch, which all I can see is their screen name. So I didn't know if that was going to work, and it does.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so, we're all connected. You think someone and the phone rings, or you get a text message from that person. It happens all the time. It's an interconnectedness of the entire planet that we can tap in if we want to, and just do amazing things.
I agree.
Yeah, stuff like that happens all the time.
It's again another thing that anybody can learn. It takes maybe a little bit extra effort to learn meditation and learn how to really focus. But once you're there, it's an amazing feeling.
So if somebody already is familiar with meditating and getting into that kind of state, do you think it's easier for them to learn that?
Yes, I would think so. I just teach a different meditation technique, but you'll find the elements in just about every meditation on the planet.
Yeah. And
it's also another step-by-step process. So I teach a simple thing first, and then we go into the more complicated one. We essentially learn a technique to unlearn a technique afterwards. So kind of like teaching to make it natural at one point. And it does get very easy. It's a normal learning process.
Well, we do. Yes. I have to say I'm excited. I think people in chat are too. We do a lot of practicing and experimentation and with people in our community. So I can imagine that pretty quickly there might be discussions about them practicing with their basketball and stuff here and seeing.
Yes. And I have a group on Facebook. It's Long Distance Bioenergy Healing.
Okay.
Every Tuesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, I do a 15-minute group meditation.
Oh, nice.
You can visualize the group that my teacher was doing live, with live audience. The more people participate, the stronger the energy. So in this case, you all have to think of me for a moment, and we're all connected. And the more people participate, the stronger that whole energy becomes, and you even feel some tingly feelings and some crazy accelerated meditation in essence. It helps me. It helps everybody who comes. You concentrate on your issues and feel the energy slowly melting away. There's more to it, but you can read that on the site.
Yeah.
Well, the link for that is now in the chat. So go there,
Gotcha. Okay.
do what you need to do, and jump in there and participate. That sounds like a good deal.
And
Yeah.
of course, if you're very enthusiastic and you want to learn the whole process and you don't like to do it online, then you can join me for one of my seminars. We have some in Florida all the time, but you may like the big one in July in Austria in the Alps.
That sounds lovely.
We've done it
Okay.
a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. It's
Sounds like it.
one of the nicest ski areas in the Alps. Of course, in the summer, it's beautiful green. It's the sound of the music everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
The hills are alive.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's our master class. Of course, anybody beginner can come as well. We do everything from scratch, and it's daily, morning qigong exercises, tai chi, lectures, some meditation, hiking the mountains. It's very pristine, relaxing, and detoxing. Plus, you learn a lot.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all going to be on my website. That last one, I haven't put it up yet. We just settled on the dates and such. But I can't wait.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So
Sounds
Now
great.
I see why. Now I see why you kept using pristine mountains as an example. 'Cause you're just thinking of You're just thinking of Austria. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
well, I've been to many other pristine places, so I do travel a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just magical. You just, it just has this special feeling. And then you come over there and learn the best healing method out there and make new friends. And we stay in this amazing place. A friend of mine built it just a few years ago. He was a former Olympic skier.
Oh, cool.
And everybody who came out there had this amazing energy. It's preaching to the choir at the end, really.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work. It's just fantastic.
Sounds incredible.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's all go. Liz said that they're gonna save their pennies.
Yeah.
Well, look it up on the site. There will be more and more information, but you'll find a lot of free lectures on my site. A lot of info, links and such. Same on Facebook and elsewhere. I finally got on TikTok.
Oh,
and,
me too.
Yeah.
And I figured
I gave into it.
My goal is to again do educational things on it and something that has value.
Yeah.
So I showed some of my morning routine. Yeah, there are specific exercises that raise your energy, and especially in the morning, it's amazing, of course.
So we're not going to see lip syncing to Motley Crue on TikTok anytime soon.
No, definitely not.
I know. I'm on there too, and I'm like, I gotta make something decent on here. There's so much garbage.
It's really hard. You have to there's so much stuff around us, the social media. I have to decide, okay, these are personal, they can go where the family can see it, and this is more of a business. Where do I put this? I was with my daughter on a Balkans motorcycle tour this summer, and we zip-lined over the Tara River in Montenegro.
Wow.
And we've done, we went to the Mostar Bridge and down to the Adriatic and such. And how do you, where do you put it?
Yeah.
What do you do with it? I have, I don't know, hours of GoPro video of the motorcycle. It's impossible. There's just too much information, and we really have to figure out how to process it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. I saw someone taking a video of some event, and I remembered my mom and my dad like saving up and making a really big deal, like in the mid-90s, they were to buy some kind of camcorder, like handy cam kind of thing, to be able to record like my sister's you know, chorus school programs or something, and they were so excited about that, you know.
Yeah.
And now I just think like pretty much everybody in the United States and in numerous other countries constantly has a video camera that is like
Absolutely
100 times better than what they paid $1,000 for you know, this little camcorder or whatever. And it's there all the time. And we have all this footage that we don't even know what to do with. It just stays on our phone until we switch phones and we delete it or upload it onto a hard drive somewhere for sure. There's a lot of information.
You used to have a photo album and looked at a few pictures, right?
Yeah.
And now it's impossible. They're just lost.
Yeah.
So yes, different times. You have to be very aware of what you're doing and where you put it and such.
Absolutely.
But you know, it comes to what's your bottom line? What's the most important thing in your life? And it's not going to be, you know, Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It's your health, and of course, it's full mental, emotional, spiritual health.
Yeah.
How many people can claim that they're fully healthy nowadays?
Yeah.
Because you're bombarded with bad stuff all the time. You know, the food, it's advertised, you know, the medicine, it's advertised, it's been thrown at you. So it's tough to shift around and look what's good, but the information is out there. So it takes a little bit of reading, you know, is this healthy for me to eat or is it not? Or you could take a pendulum and you know, hang it up and ask the question and do the same. It may be a little bit more time consuming, but you'll get the results. Okay, so the bottom line, we went down the list, right? What's important?
Yes.
Air, water, food, and such. The real secret I found out many years into doing energy healing of what will really keep you healthy. I noticed at one point that I hadn't seen a doctor since 1989.
Wow.
And I realized, gee, I haven't even had a cold. I remember I was coughing one afternoon in 2006. It was in the fall. That I remember. That was the only time I had any type of healthy. I mean, I broke my leg. I've done things, and I needed to see orthopedic surgeons, and I go to a dentist and such. But in essence, nothing that ever compromised my immune system.
Wow.
And it made me think, like, well, what did I do so good? You know, I mean. Yeah, I exercise, I eat right, kind of, sort of, but I mean, I was sickly as a kid. I always had, bronchitis every fall or winter and such. And all of a sudden it all stopped when I started doing the energy healing. I went back like, gee, I started doing the healing then. And that was about the last time, like a few weeks before then.
Wow.
And so finally I realized that the more you work on others, the more energy flows through you. And that flow keeps your energy constantly moving, preventing the formation of the obstacles and, you know, too much or too little energy at certain areas. So my advice to others, if they want to stay healthy forever, you know, help others or heal others.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it seems like almost like reciprocal. So in some ways, when you're healing someone, in some ways, you're also healing yourself as well.
Absolutely. It's like a magnet. You know, you smile at somebody, what do? Most of them will smile back. Yeah. Right? You give a heartfelt hug to somebody, you both feel that warmth. Yeah. Right? The energy exchange. So it goes for everything, I think.
I feel like so. I feel that way about my work as well. It's like a lot of the messages that come through for people are things that are helpful for everybody.
It's always better to give than to receive, said Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. He wasn't giving a smile necessarily, though. But yeah, I have found, you know, as I've gotten older, and especially in the kind of work that I do as well, you can completely disarm somebody with a smile and a good morning or a good afternoon or how are you doing? So many times I think and I know this is true for myself, I wake up in the morning and I'm tired, and I have these goals I got to meet for the day, and I got to get this thing done so I can get my lunch made, so I can get out the door, so I'm not late to work on time. And sometimes I'll go into where I work and I'm just beelining for my room, and I'm walking past people, not trying to be rude, but I got my mind focused on something. But on those mornings where someone says good morning and I return that, and then I see the next person, and even though, and now I'm telling them good morning, I'm smiling at them, right? And it can be completely contagious in that way. I really
Absolutely.
do think so.
And this is actually an American thing. When I first came here, I noticed that everybody smiles. Hey, how you doing? You know, you go to the store. Did you find everything? You know, like, hey, how you doing? Oh, great, thank you. And you?
Mm-hmm.
And whether they do great or not, or if they're doing well or not, they all smile and say, great. And first I was thinking, man, this is so fake. You know, that was the first thought. Like, why is everything so fake here? But then I realized that even the fake smile, it creates the magnetic effect of smiling. And then when you smile back, maybe that fake smile will become real.
Yeah.
So at one point, you know, you realize, yes, just keep on smiling.
Well,
yeah, I think so.
At least us Americans got something right.
Well, kind of going off that, talking about like the reciprocation of healing and healing yourself. Is there ever issues with healing and then somehow causing ill to you from the healing? Like getting any, like for instance, like someone has a headache, you heal that headache, and then somehow that headache's brought onto you. Have you had that issue at all?
It happened at the beginning when I didn't know what I was doing. So I have another very good explanation for a visual. Think of this energy as jello around you.
Okay.
And let's say there's too much jello around here. There's headache. Now, I want to take that jello off, that excess jello. Pull it off and just shake it off like jello. Think of it sticking to your fingers. Then you gotta shake it off like you would do if it were real jello.
Okay.
And so once you take enough off that, you know, it normalized, then the pain is gone. But, you know, the point is you have to do it several times. Each time a little bit of jello sticks to your hands. Each time you shake it off. And that was the simplest thing, you know, but at the beginning I didn't know I had to shake off the excess energy. You know, my hands would start hurting from whatever I picked up, too much jello. It happened a couple of times that I got a slight headache maybe. That was all at the beginning. So now I can't think of any adverse reactions or effects on me, just positive. Obviously, if I have a lot of clients and have to stand all day or such, I would feel it like anybody else. But the energy-wise, no, it's more of an exhilarating feeling. And when you see somebody getting better, it's just you can't beat that feeling.
Yeah.
Or somebody went, I tried everything, and I'm the last resort, which usually I am. And then they feel better. You know, that's even a higher. I mean, it's the highest high you can achieve.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask you, what was your favorite thing about what you do?
It's this thankfulness of it. You know, I don't expect anything anymore. You know, it's just a normal thing. But it's the constant high of like, oh, I helped like 5-6 people today, or 20 people yesterday, or, you know, I made them feel better, or that one person, you know, stands out like, holy mackerel, you know, from total alopecia going to hair everywhere.
Wow.
Okay, it doesn't happen overnight, by the way. Just statement here. It took a year of once a week treatments, but all at the distance. We never met, and I kept getting pictures, and now even the chest is hairy. So it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's an awesome
Wow.
feeling. When somebody's, I mean, it happens that some tumors will disappear overnight, or some growths, or such, but usually the healing process takes some time. If you were suffering with something for 20 years, you can't expect it to go away just like that, in a day.
But not.
It may happen, but most of the time it doesn't.
But so not just necessarily a slowing of tumor growth, but in some cases, complete remission.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're alive, everything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may need some other help. You may need to adjust your diet. You may need to, adjust your habits and such. And what's between your ears, maybe that's important. Then again, I work on a lot of people who don't know I work on them. Many wives would ask me to work on their husbands or such, or work on my horse or my dog or my baby.
Yeah.
They don't really know anything. So those are just good proofs how the energy works, and it's not a psychological thing.
Well, we've had that discussion before. Obviously, not about bioenergy healing, but we've talked about that with Reiki before, about the ethics of doing that, and we've had the conversation about how animals perform Reiki sometimes with the people they live with without. And you don't know it, like cats. I've heard stories about cats being healing and performing Reiki.
Yes, animals feel the energy much more than we do. And we could again, but we're surrounded with so many things. We learn how to touch things, see things, feel. So it takes over what's in your subconscious, for instance, or what's the deeper feeling. However, yes, they have done experiments with cats, dogs, and such. A dog will never lie down on a negative area. You build the best dog house, put it in a bad spot, he will never go in. Cats, for some reason, like negative areas.
Because they're weird. That's why cats are weird.
It's weird, but we it's not that they're bad in any way. We have a cat. I was a dog person always, but there was an experiment a while ago with cats. Actually, they were experimenting with frequencies in this lab when the cat walked in, and turns out it had very similar low frequencies that the machine was emitting. So at the time, the experiment was with kind of a frequency healing in I don't know, specific hospital. I don't know the details anymore.
Yeah.
It's saved somewhere in my emails. In essence, they realized, like, hey, wait a second, this cat was neutralizing these vibrations just like the machine did. So why not just use a cat,
Yeah.
And so they did 2 groups of people. One were treated with these frequencies, and the other, they just got a cat each. And they realized that the results were actually better with the cats, and somehow the cats were able to absorb the negative electromagnetic radiation.
Wow.
So if the cat lies down between you and your TV, it's a good thing.
Mine's laying right here.
Otherwise, the importance of grounding and such. You read about it nowadays more and more. It's a way for your body to get rid of the excess energy. You can call it static electricity, or you can go deeper in what energy it is. But in essence, you need to be out at least a few minutes and walk barefoot on grass or sand or on the beach or such. Now,
or in the Alps.
That's the big thing now. But in essence, if you go and hug a tree or touch a tree, you get that instant effect the same way. So it's sort of ionization, and the same happens when your animal comes in from the outside and you pet your animal. You will get the same effect. So do one of those, either pet an animal or hug a tree or walk barefoot every day. Quite important.
I think I'm trying to do all 3 of those every day. Yeah.
Yes. And then check out my TikTok to see what exercise is the most important for basically energizing your body every day. And moving every muscle and every joint. Technically, you can do it in a couple minutes with just one exercise.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's all out there, It's just it's finding it online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our friend Luce's their husband and them are a foster cat family. So they always have like 1 million cats in their house. So I think it is mind blowing to hear this information about the cats,
No negative energy there, right?
Yeah.
No negative energy. No.
Well, good for them.
Excellent.
So we talked about the feeling of the energy. How do you experience the seeing of the energy?
We can try it, although.
Well, I just wanted to know how you see it. Like, how do you experience it?
Well, it's you see the outline of the energy, kind of like when you see the asphalt in the summertime.
Okay.
And you see that
little
haze.
heat wave.
Yes. Yeah. So you have that specific heat wave around you, and also the energy expands quite much farther. But most people can learn to see the close by energy to the body or around the head or such.
Do you also experience seeing colors with it?
No.
Not for you.
No. I don't have that gift, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't either.
Some people do. Now, when I do distance healing, when I'm in deep meditation, then I see pretty much everything.
Yeah.
There you can concentrate on the energy and see only the energy, where you can concentrate on circulatory system or a specific internal organ. You can go inside it. You can go inside one cell if you want. It all depends on the level of your skill of meditation.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Oh, well, Terra Mama was just saying, and I had the same question. So essentially, is this the same thing as an aura?
Yes. I mean, it's just a different name to it. As I said earlier, it's Chi Prana, but it's the same concept. So your aura is your energy.
Okay.
Now we called it bioenergy in Europe. Again, it's just a different name, kind of maybe more scientific, but it's just a European approach of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's something that's happening too. I guess it's impossible to have these conversations and not talk about COVID and all the things that people went through. And we talked about earlier with like the food, like people being a little more healthy. But I think there's been a larger recognition of these concepts again that we've been talking about, energy healing and being able to do that from a distance and almost like a reconnection with that idea again.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the original healing. I mean, the first ever, you hug somebody or you hit your elbow. What do? You rub it, right? Or your baby falls down and you kiss the painful spot.
Yeah.
There's energy exchange there. You just don't pay attention to it. But the animals will lick their wounds. I mean, that's what they can do.
Yeah, and when mom kisses that, it feels better too. It does.
Yes. And so I believe that this is the future of medicine as well, except modern science will try to take it into the machine world. So at one point you will have the same little machine that Dr. McCoy had on Star Trek. They take out the little cell phone size thing and go over you and find all the areas or look through like a X-ray. It's coming. We already have machines now. We've had them for years that can measure your frequency. You put on headphones like this, similar ones, turn on the machine, it goes through every internal organ, and it will measure the frequencies there. Each organ has its own frequency. Your mean frequency is somewhere 64 to 72 megahertz. The higher the frequency, the faster the computer, right? Now, illness is at lower frequencies. Like cancer is in the 40s. The food that you eat, we talked about it before, but you can measure the frequencies. Canned food will have 0 frequency. I mean, not much addition to your own energy frequency, right? Meat, pretty much dead. Vegetables will be in the teens and fruit will be up there. Essential oils have very high frequency. The oil of lavender is in the hundreds, 100 and some. Oil of rose, 300s.
Wow.
So, you smell the roses, right? That energy spreads, and that's how it works.
Wow.
So it's quite important to keep your frequency up. Now, these machines can measure your frequency and add the missing frequency. So already doing a totally different approach. Instead of giving the frequency through medicine that you swallow, it just gives back the same frequency through headphones, and boom, you're done. Now,
that's really interesting too, because we're talking about essentially the melding of the metaphysical with science, which we've talked about a lot on this show. So in that way, we're looking at that connection, but even bringing this into the ideas of string theory that we've talked about before. So with string theory, the idea that there's like a vibration at the core of everything. So that would work the same way, essentially. When you're talking about frequency, we could also be talking about that vibration, correct?
Well, everything is vibration.
Yeah.
The atomic level, that's vibration. And as we said, it may all just be vibration, but it vibrates in such a way that, this desk is solid and this head is solid and such.
And for a certain frequency, like a representation is the frequency of the vibration. Do you think?
Yes, it's all different frequencies. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we talked about some stuff here that's new to many people. But let's look at, the entire universe in general. It's all vibrations, right? From all those vibrations out there, we can register this much. Okay, it's the colors that we see.
Yeah.
But only from here to here. Those vibrations go on past that infrared, ultraviolet. Dogs are in the worst situation. They can't even see the rainbow. We can. So how do you describe to a dog, like, well, it's there, look at it? No, I can't see it, I'm sorry. So we have some abilities with this energy also to learn it and to look at it that, it's really there. It's another ability where you just make that vibration registration a little bit bigger. But beyond there, there's sounds that we don't hear. Beyond there are many other vibrations that are beyond reach. So we're just talking this dimension, and what else is out there? It gets things a little bit more complicated.
Absolutely. Terra Mama was going to ask if this is the same as hearing all the people saying, raise your vibrations.
It could be. I mean, yes.
Raising your frequency.
Then again, we talked about how the energy goes up and how, if Mick Jagger is on the stage and 100,000 people are out there, how much energy is that, right? I mean, it's definitely raising that vibration.
Yeah.
So
and we know that people can go into like euphoric, like certain concerts and stuff like that. People will go into like euphoric trances, out of body experiences.
There's sound healing, there's light healing, there's healing coming in many different ways. But again, these are vibrations. Everything is just vibrations. So keep vibrating positive.
Good vibrations. The Beach Boys.
Good vibrations. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what ideally, what would you like to see bioenergy healing? Like, where would you like to see it in the future? Because you kind of said you think it's where we're going, but then you were talking about how it might be taken over by technology. What would you like to see it at?
Well, I would like to resist technology, at least in certain dimensions, certain parts of my life. And this would be one of them. I don't want to hug a robot. I want to hug a human.
Yeah.
And you see the world as it is now is pulling people apart. So we have to keep certain basic things basic. Now, as far as the future goes, how do I envision the future? You get up in the morning, you go on your toilet, and by the time you're done, it will tell you what's missing from your diet, what you have too much, what vitamins, minerals, or whatnot, just from what dropped below. But while you're sitting on the seat, there could be electrodes which could measure your full-on vibration. And you can probably see the results on the screen across the seat. Or
Sounds like you need to get into the toilet making industry.
Might as well, it could actually bring your vibration back. Well, it's one place that you never miss, right?
Yeah, really. You have to go.
So, yes. Technically, it could be in your car. You hold the steering wheel, and it could read off your vibration as well, and fix you while you drive. But wait a second, you're not driving anymore. It's automatic. So okay.
It has to be the toilet then.
Yes. I don't know the future, but I hope at one point everybody will learn how to heal themselves and others. At one point, I think we were, civilized and we understood the energy more than we do now. Mm-hmm. And so maybe we need to step back a little bit. A false hope that they would teach this in school.
Yeah.
I mean, who sponsors schools and what they're learning, it's again, a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just like they don't teach you how to balance your checkbook in school.
Yeah.
Well, no more checkbooks pretty soon, so no point to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a basic skill that everybody should learn. You learn at home what to eat and how to eat from what your mom cooks and what's at home. Then you go to school and you discover Twix and chocolate bars and other things. And well, it tastes better, but they didn't teach you that, hey, wait a second, maybe one bite of this and more of your salad and your fruits and vegetables and whatnot. So the modern generation saw everything on TV. We know from Seinfeld that cereal is good. Then we know from 10 years of advertisement that milk does a body good. We know from before that fat is bad. Then no, fat is good. Then don't eat eggs. No, eat eggs. So there's always some kind of a fashion.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
The trends. Yeah.
Yes. Might as well, as we're with food. Simplest thing you can do for yourself is don't eat. Food is overrated. But let's say you stop eating for 3 hours before you go to bed. And you have a good night's sleep, you wake up, your liver is full of energy for the next 3-4 hours. Why bother eating again? Give your body time to detox, relax, have water, put some salt in it. It's good for you. And then eat. Eat normally. Just give your body those 14 to 16 hours of break. The old thinking was like, if you eat all the time, you speed up your metabolism, right? Mm-hmm. Good for you. Again, this is one of those past things, past fabs.
Yeah.
It's the longer you hold off eating, the healthier and happier your body will be. And different processes awaken after so many hours. Another thing happens if you don't eat all day or 2 days or such. Eventually you will have to eat until you learn how to live off sunlight or such. We're not there yet. And, the food industry's advertisement is too strong.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing I've heard about a lot lately is I'm gonna fasting. Going through. I'm not going to eat till 4 o'clock or something like that, and people have had a lot of really good results from that. Mm-hmm. More energy. which, you know, I mean, that is one thing. You eat a good meal and you get sluggish. So maybe there's some truth to it. By no means am I a health guru, but it's something I've been thinking about trying. Just we did a juice cleanse one time. We didn't go too hot.
I didn't make it very long. Yeah,
we made it a couple days. I think we made it like 2 days.
Well, I mean, juice is okay, but you're missing the most important ingredients from the fruit or whatever you make.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting all the sugar and none of the good stuff.
I think I just remember getting hangry.
Yelling at each other.
Well, you get a good sugar high, but then you have to wash out the juicer. And every time it's yes. A blender, it's a little bit easier. You know, a good power blender.
Yeah, I think that's what we were doing. We were doing smoothies, weren't we? Isn't that what we were doing?
I think so. I don't know.
It was a long time ago.
Whatever it was.
Bad memories. Yeah.
Smoothies are amazing.
They are. They're delicious.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're delicious. So I just want to go over real quick. We have it pinned to the top of the chat, and it will be down in the details below. But you can go to chongordaniel.com. The book is Bioenergy Healing: Simple Techniques for Reducing Pain and Restoring Health Through Energetic Healing, as well as 3 other books. And you can find all of those on Amazon, correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
Amazon, and some of them are on my website. I have some Tai Chi videos too, and I also have a children's book. It's a cute story about a little girl who discovers that she can feel and see the energy, and her dad teaches her how to apply it. It's a true story, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wrote the book, and my daughter was 9, and she did the illustrations for it.
Oh, that's so
she's
cute.
the art teacher now.
Yeah.
But she was 2 years old when I happened to work on her grandfather, working on his knees, and I was on one knee, and she walked over and she mimicked my moves on the other knee. And he was very cute. We were laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got serious, like, oh, wait a second. I can feel that.
Yeah.
And she mimicked the pain relieving moves, and he stood up and both knees were fine.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, wait a second. What can I do with this? How can I, And so I started teaching her how to feel the energy and how to see the energy. And later on, both with her sister, I would be putting them to sleep, and then we would look at the ceiling and kind of see the energy between our fingers and such. And so it was a normal thing for them. That's how they grew up. It would be great if any child can do that the same way.
Absolutely.
And so the goal of that book was to really introduce it to kids early on, before they have any prejudice about things and how to feel and how to see. And so, a lot of adults found it helpful as well.
Yeah,
it's a very simple story. It's for 7-year-olds and such. And
we have one vicinity. Of those. we have to pick it up.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when they learn it early, it's just normal to them. They're not, that's what they know.
It took a while till they realized that people take pills for pain.
Yeah.
You just don't, because we used
People
to just
don't
grab
know about
the pain.
this.
Yeah, we used to grab the pain and throw it away, and that was it. Yeah. And then the first aid. So, I think anybody can achieve that. It's a good skill to have. Just like you have a medicine cabinet and there's certain things in there, some gauze, some Band-Aids and such. It's nice to have the actual knowledge of how to stop pain or how to help somebody overcome health difficulties and such.
Absolutely. All the tools in the toolbox are. You can never have too many tools.
Yes.
In the toolbox. Yeah, I'm looking at the kids' book now. Adorable. Girl with the healing hands. Yeah. Everybody
That one
got
is it's also on Amazon, and I have my first book on Amazon as well. It was called Biotherapy: A Healing for the 21st Century. That came out in 1997, a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was first of a kind. But this one is definitely a masterpiece. I think I explained everything in many details.
Awesome.
So that's that.
Excellent. I think a lot of people were excited about the QR codes for the videos too.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
they were talking about that in chat. So
The audiobook doesn't have it. Disclaimer.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So if you want the QR codes, yeah,
You got to get the real thing that has pages in it. Yes.
Absolutely.
I can tell you
Keisha
right
wanted
now
to
that
know-
the book is
They-
going to
they are
smell
all
way
on it.
better than the audiobook. So
Yes. Otherwise, the QR codes, all those videos are on YouTube as well. You can find
Okay.
them there, and they're simple to find because they're just numbered.
Mm.
They're 1 through 31 and such.
Okay.
So you don't have to sift through like a million videos.
Keisha wanted to know if your daughter still does your daughter still heal or use her art to heal?
Well, I would like to think so. I mean, the last time she officially did was like with the cheerleaders in high school. But I think art is healing as well.
Mhm.
And so many artists find their healing through their subjects. She knows how to do it. And,
yeah.
and it's one of those, the shoemaker's kids walk barefoot. I'm a little bit better off. At least they learn how to do it, but
Yeah.
they don't do it as a profession.
Yeah.
So if something hurts, yes.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
my daughter worked on my back during the summer, during the motorcycle trip.
Yeah.
It gets to you after 8 to 10 hours in the saddle, and
Yeah.
she was removing the energy, and she was working on my back or my neck from behind and such. So that was a good feeling that it went on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this knowledge will come back later on in their lives when they actually need it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When
That's
they
what
have
it
some
seemed like.
issues.
Yeah. That they'll use it when it's needed.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing stuff.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. I was absolutely amazing. A lot of interesting information, some stuff that we've kind of just talked about before, but I think a lot of clarifying information and a lot of information that I think that everyone is already kind of talking about and wanting to, they're already talking about, all right, come back with details about how this is working for you. So we're looking forward to hearing about it. I'm sure we'll have some discussions in the Discord talking about this a little bit and how people are coming along with looking and practicing with the bioenergy healing. I know that Jenny, you've been looking at getting into some healing for a while. So maybe
I was just getting ready to say that it's been something that I felt like I can do and I should be doing, but the only one that I really have had access to was Reiki, and it just never felt right to me. It didn't feel like the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. So I think I'm definitely going to be looking more into what you do, and I'm really glad that you came on and opened up my world, healing world. That there
Great.
another modality that is something similar but different. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for having me and opening up to this.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, take care, and we will follow you. And I've already subscribed to your YouTube over there, so I'll be checking out what you do, and feel free to stay in touch.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. We should repeat this again.
Yeah. You can come back anytime.
Yeah, especially maybe once you come back from the Alps, you can tell us what it was like, and we can have a discussion about that. If you want to come on and talk about the upcoming trip to the Alps, that's another possibility too. So just let us know.
Even better.
Yeah. Excellent.
Great.
Awesome.
All right. Well, have a wonderful evening.
All right.
Thank you, Csongor. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Now I have to.
There's my face again.
There we go. Boom. We're doing things differently. because we're getting ready to have the video.
We need Priestess of Wonderland's moon update.
Yes. I just gotta get I got a million things in my things here. So it's like, we'll get us there. Boop, boop, boop. I'm gonna make you super big. Super big. Boop, boop. Sound effects.
There we go. I've been readjusted to the proper size.
Look how easy that was.
Beep boop, beep boop.
Well, that was super interesting. That was I'm excited about trying some of that. And feel free, like, let us know too, like if you were working with the ball earlier and you were having experiences with that.
I definitely was. It was really cool.
I definitely got the axis rotation with the palms there. Like it just seemed to be a natural way. Like it wasn't like a different way every time. It was like a perfect. And then I got the resistance.
Felt like there was like a ball bearing in there.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, exactly. And I have I felt the resistance more pushing away than I did going in. So I probably just need to obviously get to practice with that a little bit, but there we go. And you came to mind right from the get-go in there because it's like kind of like Reiki, but maybe without all the trappings of Reiki to a certain extent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's go ahead. We have, did you want to say something else?
I was going to say, I knew that there was different healing modalities out there, but I hadn't really run across any of them yet. So to learn about this one from someone who is a master of it was really interesting. Something I definitely want to look into more.
Yeah, I think so. So, if you want to talk about it, if you buy one of the books, if you feel like sharing, you don't have to. Feel free to go to the Discord and we can have a conversation there. Maybe we can pop like an energy healing thread in there, and we can talk about that if that's something you're into. Because I'm sure Jenny might start practicing a little bit with that, so we can.
Dexter said, "I actually know about this, but I just do it for fun." And then Keisha said, I had actually done it for my husband and kids, but I had trouble focusing and I wasn't sure if it worked because they didn't know I was doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's two different forms of healing we've talked about recently with the scalar light and the bioenergy. And I probably could have brought that up, but I don't know if there's much. I mean, there's differences between what Tom Palladino is doing and what Csongor is doing.
But I think there's a lot of connections.
Yeah, there's a lot of connections, more than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bioenergetic healing book club,
and or maybe a book for another Medium Jenny Lee book review or something. So,
yeah, seems like a book I should get. The kids' book seems really adorable too.
Yeah. And I didn't say when he was on, but remember, it's always. It's never too early at this point to start thinking about your Christmas shopping. Right around the corner. We got our Halloween stuff up. So, once the Halloween stuff goes up, then it's the Thanksgiving stuff, and then it's the Christmas stuff. So it's getting.
Terra Mama got the kids' book already. Looking
Excellent.
for the other one.
All right, guys. So we're pushing 10. I would love to talk some more, but we do have a special guest appearance tonight from Allison, the Priestess of Wonderland. She wasn't able to come on live tonight to do the moon phases coming up, but we have a video, so we're going to put that on and welcome Allison on to do the
moon stuff.
Moon phases. Yep.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I couldn't make it there with you this evening, but I really wanted to talk about the month of October and the moon energy and astro energy because I think it's going to be a doozy. Not only are we entering into shadow season, but we are also entering into eclipse season. So the good news is we have a lot of the planets that were retrograde direct at this time. So this means that they're moving forward. So we have Mercury, Mars, and Venus are all moving forward. So this is communication, action, and relationship. So these planets are closest to us, so we feel their energy more closely. The other planet that I want to focus on that will be going direct is Pluto. Pluto will be going direct on October 10th. So this is the planet of transformation. And the reason I want to bring that up is because we are entering eclipse season, which brings about transformation. So I think that this is a really positive transition because we want to use the eclipses as best we can to transform. So the fact that Pluto is going direct right before the new moon solar eclipse, I think is a really good thing and something to focus on. So starting off at the beginning of the month where we are here on October 5th, we have a last quarter Cancer moon, and the Cancer is ruled by the moon, so it feels at home in this sign, and you might be kind of feeling homey at this time as well. Cancer gives us this opportunity to take care of ourselves, to nurture ourselves, and to practice self-care. So it's a good idea to kind of start off this month and this week really reminding yourself, what are those self-care things that help me deal with stress, anxiety, or whatever the eclipses might bring up for you. So moving into next week, like I said earlier, we have Pluto going direct on Tuesday the 10th. And this is right before the new moon, which is happening on Saturday, October 14th. So this is a new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So solar eclipse means that the sun is being eclipsed or blocked. So this is blocking out the light. And what's left when we block out the light is we experience shadow. So it's going to feel even darker than a new moon normally feels because a new moon normally is dark. These are bringing shadow things to the surface and kind of illuminating them a little bit. So we've been in Libra season for a couple weeks already, meaning the sun is in Libra, and we recognize Libra as the sign of balance. Its image is the scales. So we often talk about Libra and balance. It's also ruled by Venus, which talks about relationships and ruling with the heart. And we sometimes forget that Libra and the scales are also the sign of justice. So I think what this eclipse will be bringing up for us is an opportunity to wield our sword of justice and cut away things that are not serving us. I think that by looking at our lives or whatever negative things might come up for you, you might just decide that, hey, I don't want these on my scales anymore, and taking them off and then finding and rebalancing your energy then. So this new moon solar eclipse gives us an opportunity to create balance, but it might give us a need to wield our sword of justice. Then on the 23rd of October, we move out of Libra season and into Scorpio season. So this is going to set the tone for the Halloween week and the Halloween weekend, and it's going to give us this opportunity to get into that dark energy and kind of play around a little bit. Then on October 28th, we have a Taurus lunar eclipse. Now this time when we have a lunar eclipse, it's the moon lunar is being eclipsed or blocked. So this again is making things dark. Normally on a full moon, we have a bright light full moon, but when it's blocked, it's actually the earth that is blocking the moon, or the earth is blocking the sun's light from hitting the moon's surface. So this is going to have similar energy to a new moon because it's dark. This is normally a time that is totally illuminated, and like when you go outside, your yard is all lit up with moonlight. At the time of the eclipse, that's not going to be the case. So it's going to be dark. So this again is bringing shadowy things, spooky things to the surface. And that brings us to the end of the month. So Halloween weekend, you might be celebrating on Saturday, the 28th, since Halloween's on a Monday. So I don't know, you might not even notice the eclipse energy. But another thing, even though I feel like this might be, I mean, all eclipses tend to be kind of turbulent. And the one thing that's really beautiful about a Libra solar eclipse and a Taurus lunar eclipse is that they are both ruled by Venus. These are signs that want justice. They want comfort. They want heart-centered things in our lives. So these eclipses, like any obstacle in our life, is going to give us an opportunity to make change and transform for the better. And it's going to help you to be able to choose and see things that create balance in your life or create comfort in your life. So that is the moon for October. So I did a little October mini tarot reading here, and it kind of sums up very beautifully the energy of the month. I think so. We have the Nine of Swords here, which is about things that are keeping you awake at night, things that are causing you overthinking, anxiety, those naggy things that are always like that you're always worrying about. And we have the Six of Wands and the Hanged Man here too. And I feel like this gives us an opportunity to remember that you have the support of your communities, to not be going through these worrisome, troublesome times on our own, but to also gain a different perspective with the Hanged Man here. I think that we have all, especially in this community, done the work with the Eight of Pentacles here. We've done the work. We know how to meditate. We know how to cope with things. We know how to release negative energy. We know how to work with crystals. We know how to connect to our higher self and to communicate with our guides. And we know who to ask for help if we feel like we need help with those things. So we've learned how to do these coping things and do these regular daily practices that help make our day better, help make our lives better. But are we really utilizing them in times of stress and anxiety and discomfort? And these eclipses give us this opportunity to do this. And I think by the end of this month, the real lesson, and honestly, the real lesson of this entire year seems to be, how do you maintain calm and peace and focus on the light when we're in difficult or dark times? We can be both of the things at the same time. We can live amongst the chaos, but still find peace and that connect to our intuition and to remain centered, even if your scales feel out of balance. So hopefully I will see you next month on the Witching Hours to talk about November. I think that we are all capable of getting through this time and that we are so lucky to have each other to help if we are ever in need. I appreciate you giving me some time off, and I hope to see you all at our slumber party on Saturday. I'm conserving and saving my energy so that we can have as much fun as possible. So thanks again for having me, and I hope you have a wonderful October.
Yay.
I had myself muted. Excellent. Thank you so much, Allison, Priestess of Wonderland. That was some good information on what we have coming up with the moon phases in October. A lot of interesting things. I'm imagining I'm imagining that we actually won't get any visual representation where we're at for the lunar eclipse. I haven't heard anything about it, but maybe you know, Priestess. But
I don't know.
So some turbulence with those.
Yeah.
Going into,
I feel like the last time we had an eclipse, there was some real crazy stuff that happened.
Yeah.
For like a lot of us. But in the long run, it was all for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting to see how things set up because this is, I don't know. I'm the holiday geek, but it's a big time of year coming up. We've got one thing smashing right into the next one, all the way through. I mean, very quickly, guys, we're going to be sitting here doing our prediction show, so it's going to happen quick.
Which me and Erica came up with a fabulous thing that we're going to do.
Yeah,
some of you might have heard it. We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it on her last stream.
Yeah, so go give. If you're not already following Priestess of Wonderland, I know many here already are, go give Priestess of Wonderland a follow. I know we've shouted out a couple times tonight. And Slumber Party this weekend. So, yeah, go check it out. It's going to be a good time.
So, she said that we won't see anything because it's during the day.
Yeah, it's during the day. But that's what I was figuring. Because usually that's man, wouldn't that be cool if you could, like, one year if we got like a lunar eclipse on a Halloween? Like, that would be cool. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So real quick, shooting over to the calendar. Next week we have Jen Romanowski. We have Irene Panagopoulos. The week after that, her friend and possibly, we haven't figured out yet, possibly some people from a show coming on with her on that evening. And then the 26th is the Halloween special, the 2-year anniversary and Halloween special, so that that'll be a special night. That's one you definitely aren't going to want to miss. And then
Tara Mom wants to do the prediction show this year.
Excellent. All right, we'll sign you up.
She said she said I think I want to, but I'm going to say that yes, she does.
Yeah, I think we already have Erica scheduled. I'm pretty sure we can rank
sure Allison wants to come back. Yeah, I get Tara Mama. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll start. There's some. Well, we had someone give a prediction. Didn't Chat Charlie give us a prediction on the show we had her on?
We would have to probably go back and look at it. Yeah,
because we were talking about her coming on, and she said she would just give us one then. So we'll go back and write that down.
Or play the clip of it or something. Yeah.
And we'll be getting all ready to start with going into the next year and go over our predictions from last year, which will be interesting because I'll be honest, I wrote them all down, but I don't remember all the predictions, so that'll be interesting to go over. And then we go into the month of November with other guests coming up as well. So it's gonna be fun, and I'm looking forward to all of these shows and hanging out with you guys more. Tomorrow is Friday, yippee-yi-ki-yay, I guess, and we'll have your stream tomorrow night, right?
Yes. And if you were not there today, I highly recommend going back and watching today's VOD for Tara Mama's reading. Because it was incredible. It was a very intense, strange, and wonderful reading. So I'm excited to see what comes through tomorrow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then Saturday, what do you have going on Saturday?
Saturday is the energy protection class from 7 to 9.
All right.
And then afterwards, we'll be going to the slumber party.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful evening. We're going to send you off, and I guess we'll go find some other magical stream here to go raid out to this evening. Let's see what we have. We're going to try, let's try the podcast channel again. Let's see what we have going on. Not that. Thank you for the gifts up, hoaxers, to Priestess of Wonderland. Let's see.
And he gave one to Amber earlier, too.
Just throwing out those dollars. So nice.
Oh, the girls want a Keisha. Hoaxers just wants everybody to have the Halloween emotes. Yeah. Yay.
All right, let's see what we have going on tonight in the old. This isn't something I frequent a whole lot, the talk shows and podcast section. And off we go. Now Luce has one too.
OMG, now Luce has
one. Holy cow. Thank you so much. I'm in the process.
Oh, now did I get one? What?
I am in the process of upgrading our alerts on here. I'm trying to come up with a bunch of cool visual ones for that way we have gifts when something cool pops up on the screen. So people can kind of see what's going on, and that way when people sub or follow whatever, they get some good recognition and can make some cool things happen. So I'm going to be working on that. It's in the queue. It's in the old hopper.
I'm so excited to get the shaky This Is Weird. I haven't had it because I subbed to Frosty's channel and he subs to mine, so they counterbalance each other, you know. But I don't actually sub to our own witching hours. So I'm excited to have the This Is Weird. Thank you, Hooksters.
I'm trying to see if there's anything in our...
Straying Bat is creating monsters in the podcast. Straying Bat.
I have one called X-Files. X-Files. Is that someone you already follow? Well, let's do that. Let's go make a new fin. We'll Straying Bat. We will go raid there. Hoaxers is the best. Thank you so much, Hoaxers. Thank you once again, everyone, for coming and hang out with us. It's no fun doing this show without you guys. So thank you so much for being here and participating and just hanging out and making this show worth doing. We really do appreciate all of you for coming in and spending your evening with us. It's a long show. You know, we have a long form interview. So thank you guys for coming in and hanging out and choosing to spend your time with us. I really do appreciate it.
And thanks to Csongor Daniel, and thanks to Priestess of Wonderland.
And I just have to type this out here. Let's see, string. Okay, it's for mature audiences, so
go to
be ready. Yep. All right, guys. Once again, we'll see you all tomorrow night. Have a wonderful Friday, and sweet dreams. See you next time.